Hi guys, Christian here. Today's video is going to be about digital marketing for Airbnb and how you can set your listing apart. There's going to be Google Earth, drone video, floor plans, 3D virtual tours, and more. Best of all, most of this marketing can be done for no money out of your pocket. So sit back, relax, watch the presentation, and there's a question and answer session at the end that you won't want to miss. As always, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more information about Airbnb and real estate technology. To give you an example, here's one of the listings that we have. We use extremely high definition photography. This photo was enhanced using a couple of Fiverr resources that we have. We use 3D and 2D floor plans so that our guests can see exactly what the property layout is and if it's going to fit their needs. Also, too, it draws a lot more attention and we get a lot better reviews accordingly. So what are some of the tools that are out there to create 3D virtual tours? The industry standard right now is Matterport. If you haven't heard of Matterport, you can go to their website. It's nice because they've created a iPhone application now, and your first tour is free. So you can use it for any short-term rental that you've got and create a 3D virtual tour. They also have a very nice feature called the Dollhouse 3D View. You can see it. It's actually one of those really incredible things that everybody should have when it comes to their property. You know, if you're listing a property for sale or if you're listing a property for rent, even a short-term rental, the Dollhouse View is just an incredible tool. It really draws people into the home and it allows them to see if it's going to meet their needs, you know, immediately. And if it is, then they're going to obviously book the property more or buy the property or have a lot more interest than they would accordingly. They also allow you to create a 3D virtual walkthrough. So you can start the tour from anywhere inside the house and actually walk around through the house and show it off to a potential short-term renter or buyer. The other tool that I really like is called Asteroom. It's inexpensive, it's easy to use. You create a quick and easy 3D photo of the property, and then you can create a dollhouse view similar to Matterport, and also too will create a 3D floor plan for you as well. Both tools are extremely easy to use. Again, Matterport is kind of the industry standard. After your first tour, they do get a little bit more expensive, and Asteroom allows you a lot more storage. So if you have multiple properties, it's a lot less expensive over time. Something that everybody should be using and very, very few people do is Google Earth. Google Earth does have a tool called Google Earth Pro. You can download it onto your desktop computer. It allows you to utilize all the tools that Google Earth offers, which is really incredible flybys and overhead views and all of the really nice things that you would expect from Google. You can get really cool details about landmarks that are around the property or other things. You can point out all of the highlights and the neighborhoods and the community. So it's just a really cool tool. And again, it's free to use. It takes very little time to set it up, and it really adds a lot of value when people want to know, you know, how close am I to this landmark, or where's the zoo, or where's the beach. You can easily show it on Google Earth. And again, it's a free tool that not many people utilize, but everybody should. Drone photography and videos are a game changer, and they add so much value to a property listing. And drone photography and videos come down in price so dramatically. It's become just one of those necessities that every listing needs to have. You can buy a drone for $200 to $300, create your own video and photos if you want. You can have a professional do it for about the same price, usually $200 to $300, and you can get great pictures of the neighborhood, of the property itself, of the zoo, the golf course, the community center, whatever's close to your property that's really going to draw attention to it and make it stand out from the rest of the listings that are out there. So some tools for creating floor plans. First off, the 2D floor plans, they become so much easier to create and so cost effective that everyone should have them for their property listing. Two tools that I like to use are Cubicasa and Magic Plan. Magic Plan will take you about an hour or two the first time you go through it. As you can see from the iPad photo right there, it's very easy to put together, and you can create a floor plan and add furniture to it, add dimensions, add whatever you'd like to make it stand out. Cubicasa, on the other hand, takes about 10 minutes or so. You walk through the property with your iPhone or mobile phone. It actually takes video and then it uploads it to the cloud, and Cubicasa puts together the floor plan for you. It costs about $25. Your first one's free though, so you can go ahead and use that for your first floor plan. See how you like it. If you like it, you can continue to use it. Magic Plan, on the other hand, is about $4, and it also too creates 3D virtual floor plans of the property, and it costs again $4 to use and is just so much easier and so much cost effective. But again, I see very few listings of properties out there that show a floor plan. This is an example of a 3D dollhouse photo. So you're going to see this is like a Matterport or an Asteroom, what you get at the end. And then there's 3D overhead floor plans as well of a property. Both of these add such tremendous value. You can see exactly what the property looks like, where the rooms are situated, where the kitchen is, where the living room is. And again, it's going to draw just that extra added attention to the property. They look dramatically better than most of the photos that are available for a property. And I usually make these the headline or the cover photo when it comes to our short-term listings and our real estate as well. They're all very, very incredible tools to use that allow you to show off your property a lot more than what's out there currently. Some tools that are there if you need help to do any of these digital marketing strategies. Fiverr is something that I utilize all the time. If you've got a need for any type of photo editing or video editing, they also too have fantastic tools to or freelancers that'll help you create 2D floor plans very inexpensively for $5 or $10, and then 3D floor plans for about the same. Laptop Landlord is a great resource for other property owners and short-term landlords out there that have done the same thing, and that you can add some help if you need something along the terms of, you just aren't sure what to do for different types of marketing. There's LearnBnB, a great resource as well, and Guesty is a short-term property management portal, and it allows you to aggregate all of your listings into one place so that you can manage everything. If you've got 3, 4, 5 properties that you're short-term renting and you're using them, 5, 6, 10 portals. There's obviously Airbnb, VRBO, TripAdvisor, Booking, and several others that are out there. So that's it for the quick presentation. And we do stage and market properties. We do professional photos, video, 3D tours, floor plans. I'm located in San Diego. We also too give current market value analysis for Airbnb properties, which is usually significantly higher than other properties in the neighborhood based on the fact that they're drawing in more income than similar rental properties. If you aren't currently on Airbnb and you'd like to sign up, please use our referral link. You'll get $55 and we get $30 when you sign up and use the referral. And if you haven't already, please check out my YouTube channel. I post all the videos from our meetups on there, along with other Airbnb specific videos, and also to real estate related content. My email address is at the bottom there, so if you'd like to get in contact with me, you can at any time. happy to help out. I love other short-term rentals as well. So if you've got any questions or you need anything, you can always get in touch with me that way. I'll go ahead and open it up so that if you've got any questions at all, if there's anything that you need, we'll spend the next 5 minutes or so going over the presentation. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
Hi, the question I have is, can you also do valuations of successful Airbnb, well, vacation rental, when you're ready to sell? And what I mean is, the valuation of the business, not just the house itself.
Yes, definitely. So what we do is we usually go over the last 2 years of rental income, and then we compare that to the other properties in the neighborhood that have sold recently and compare them on an apples to apples basis so that we can show what a property is worth. Usually we're getting about 20% more than other rental properties that have sold recently in the neighborhood. And we package them up and sell them as short-term rental properties as opposed to just the run-of-the-mill sales comparison approach, which most real estate agents use. They're going to say, well, your neighbor sold for $500,000. That makes your property worth $500,000. That's not necessarily the case. And we go to the Airbnb tools. There's a resource on the Airbnb website that allows you to pull the income that you've received for the last couple of years so that you can use that for tax purposes, but you can also use it to refi your home, or you can also to show it to potential buyers. That's what I recommend that we pull up and we show, okay, we made $55,000 last year on Airbnb rental income, and that makes our property worth dramatically more than our neighbor's property.
This property is in LA, and I don't think there's any other short-term rentals in the neighborhood, in our neighborhood. But it's a very lucrative property. It's in the valley, and we get a lot of people from all over the world. So I have heard other realtors tell me that it can be up to double whatever the price is of just selling the house itself if you're selling it as a business.
It can be. It just really depends on that revenue. Of course, the income is going to play a big part of that, and it's going to appeal to a certain type of investor. Getting double is extremely, it's going to be difficult to do because you also have to deal with that appraiser as well. As long as you can demonstrate to a potential buyer and to an appraiser why it's worth that much, then sure, you can obviously push the market as high as you want to. Again, it's that documentation and that's that ability to show like, okay, my property is worth twice as much as my neighbor's property because it's drawing 2 or 3 times more rental income than my neighbor's property. But it is a business at that point, and you are really marketing to a specific type of buyer. So it's not going to be your traditional owner who's going to come in there. So it's really decreasing that buyer pool as well. So it's a different type of marketing that we have to go through in order to find that Airbnb buyer. And when you have somebody like that who comes in, they're not going to want to pay a premium because they know that they can buy the neighbor's house and do the same thing. So you've got to have that balance between what's reasonable and there's going to be a little bit of a premium, but having a tremendous premium is going to it may or may not be worth that amount.
We go through a service. We use Guestable. And as a matter of fact, we've never done it directly ourselves. We've always gone through a service. This is our second service. So we have no records with Airbnb. The house would, but only as a property of Guestable. So, which is something that always confuses the accountants and the CPA. They keep saying, where's your W-2 from Airbnb? But that's not the only platform we use either. We use like 20 different platforms. But anyway, we never have a W-2 because it's as if the company, the middleman, is renting our house, and then they're the ones who are contracting with Airbnb or whatever the platform is. They're the ones that pay the fees. It's not us.
Gotcha. Yeah, and when you have a property management company who's taking care of it, they're going to probably give you a 1099. Do they do that?
No, we don't get a 1099.
Don't get a
It's not
1099.
a property manager per se because they do all the marketing. They have the guest services. They do the housekeeping for us and stuff like that as well.
Okay. How do you keep track of your P&L then, and what are you reporting on your taxes?
They give us sort of a statement every month that shows how much that we've made and how much they've deducted for their fees.
Okay, that's perfect. And then how long have you had it for?
We've been doing this for about 2 years now.
Okay, that's perfect. Anything over 2 years is fine. That's typically what an investor is going to want to see, and then they're just going to go off of that P&L that you're getting. So as long as you have 2 years of documentation that's going to show, this is what we're making after a management fee and everything else. That's what we're going to utilize in order to do the marketing, and also to be able to document to potential buyers, hey, here's my net amount after management, after everything else. So this is what I'm netting, each year. And if that's 50,000 or 100,000 or $200,000, that's perfect. That's all that an investor typically wants to see.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And do you know, is it possible, if necessary, to audit the company, the marketing company, to see what they're making at the top? Because typically they don't want to show that, but I think that they should, just to be all up and above board.
Yeah, you definitely should get some type of a statement that shows, here's what the gross revenue was, here's what we brought in from the property, and here's what your net return is. Are you not getting that?
Well, they do show us a number that they say is the gross revenue, but for instance, we don't see any records, like I said before, from Airbnb. So we have no way to tie it to the gross. So in other words, they could be saying it is what it, because it changes every month, and that seems a little weird to me. I mean, yes, they do adjust it for holidays and whatever the circumstances might be, pandemics, but and I get that, but it seems like we should be seeing it tied to what it's actually bringing in. They should be showing us some sort of something that verifies that gross income.
Yeah, you should be getting some type of a statement. Every website and every platform that's utilized, from the 20 or 30 that your property's on, is going to provide a 1099 at the end of the year. They all make you input a tax ID number, and that revenue has to be reported. So it's going to your property management company, or your service provider, and they're having to pay taxes accordingly on that. So that should be audited. You should be able to get copies of those 1099s from every single platform that your property's on. There is going to be, like you said, a fluctuation when it comes to the value that the management company is getting each month. So you are going to see, ups and downs, especially summertime, in San Diego or LA, especially, you're going to get property values that are 2 or 3 times more than you would in off season, like, fall and spring. But, other than that, your values that you should be getting should be pretty consistent. And what we see is that, in July in San Diego, we get about 2.5 times more than any month out of the year. But other than that, you're going to see almost the same amount of revenue per month. We're booked on average about 80% of the time, and you don't want to see higher bookings than about 80%. If you're seeing 90 or 95 or 100%, that means you're charging too little. And if you're
Yeah.
seeing below 80 or 70%, then you're charging too much. But you've
Yeah.
got that sweet spot in there. And if a property management or a service management company is doing their job, you should see pretty consistent values each month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's with our first rental company, we were booked almost a year out in advance. And then when we made the switch, one of the reasons why we made the switch was because the new company said to us, you're booked way too far out. You shouldn't be booked that. If you're booked that far out, they're not charging enough. So they greatly increased the rates, and then now we're only booked a reasonable amount out, like 2 months out in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're booked out more than 6 months or, even up to a year, that usually means that you're charging too little because,
Yeah.
those holidays and, special weekends. And you see also two events that pop up that you didn't otherwise know about. Like in San Diego, we had the TwitchCon in September, which we had never had before. And that was last year, and it was supposed to be this year as well. And just that 1 week in September, values almost tripled. And, if you didn't know about it and you had it booked out too far in advance, then of course people are going to get a much lower rate than if you knew about it and you could, price your rates accordingly. So yeah, you're going to want to make sure that, the property management company is doing their job and not charging too little. Of course, they're going to want to have it booked up as much as possible because they're making 20% or whatever their cut is on the rental income. But for you as a owner, you want to see the highest revenue that you possibly can.
Yeah. I mean, do you know, is there a common multiple that's used specifically for vacation rental property when doing valuations? I mean, is it usually like a 1.2 or something or less than that?
What we usually see is a little bit over 2% as compared to a long-term lease. I mean, not 2%, 2 times. So,
Oh.
if a property is renting for $3,000 a month, that's next door, you're probably going to see close to $6,000 or so on a short-term rental basis. And that includes vacancy. So, on 80% booked, you're going to see about that amount that you're getting for it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty typical that we've seen across the board, in San Diego especially. So I'm assuming that probably it's the same thing in LA and other markets in California.
Yeah. Um, the city of LA is now getting involved in vacation rentals. They're registering everyone, and they're having us all send notifications out to all the neighbors around, which we've done. And then you can apply for extended vacation rental, or they call it home sharing, I think, and so on and so forth. Do they do the same thing down here in San Diego? Because I haven't looked into it yet, but we would rather have. Well, I don't know what the market's like down here, so I don't know. But we were thinking of getting something more closer to ourselves, more local.
Yeah, it really is city by city basis. So,
Okay.
the city of San Diego is going to have different rules and regulations than the city of Chula Vista or the city of, Oceanside. And then there's some municipalities that have completely outlawed short-term rentals.
Right.
So, Coronado, you're not allowed to do anything less than 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to that, it's, really frustrating, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot you can do fighting against the laws that are there.
Right.
So you want to check and make sure that the local ordinances fit with what it is that you need. But there are some really great cities that, I live in Eastlake in Chula Vista, and it's a great place to have a short-term rental. But there's other places that I know are just extremely difficult to deal with. And, you do see a lot on the news too, where, there's these huge party houses that, the
Yeah.
neighbors complain about, which I can completely understand. But I'd say that 99% of the short-term rentals that are there are, really well done. And the people that are staying there are happy to be there, and they're just coming in for a vacation, and it's going to be a family vacation or whatever. And, they're in and out in a couple of days, and, nobody's the wiser really. But yeah, you do want to make sure that if you're looking in a specific area, I'm not sure what area you live in, but whatever area that you want to be in, that the local ordinances are, favorable for short-term rentals.
Yeah, we live in Encinitas, so I haven't looked into it yet at all, but I have noticed that down by the beach, there's a lot of homes that hang a little sign outside with an Airbnb registration number. I think that's what it is, outside their home.
hmm Yeah, there are going to be some municipalities that require you to, be licensed, and so they're going to, tax you accordingly, and they're going to
Yeah.
want to make sure that they don't have It may be regulated to a certain amount so that, after they hit 100 licenses, they cut it off.
Right.
And so there's, those kind of regulations as well, where they really tighten it down so that not everybody can have a short-term rental. I know that in Mission Beach and Pacific Beach, it's, a huge issue where, every weekend you've got thousands of people short-term rental wise coming in and then, leaving all at the same time. And,
Yeah.
the neighbors really get frustrated when there's just a bunch of people that are constantly turning over every week.
Yeah, I bet they don't like that. I bet they don't like that. Understandably.
Yeah, definitely. Feel free to send me an email, and I'd be
Okay.
happy to take a look at your property up in Los Angeles and give you any answers that you need accordingly. And also, too, if you're looking for something here in San Diego, my wife and I specialize in finding Airbnb properties and can kind of guide you through that process as well. And if you've got additional questions or concerns or need anything, we're always available.
Okay, that's terrific. All right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Appreciate it.